The tension in the village of Umuahia grew as rumors of Princess Igo's relationship with Chike spread. Some villagers were supportive, admiring the princess for choosing love over status, while others, including many nobles in the palace, were outraged. How could a princess, destined for greatness, fall in love with a simple farmer? Igo and Chike, however, remained determined. Their bond, though fragile, was growing stronger with each passing day. They spent their mornings working in the fields and their evenings under the stars, sharing their dreams and fears. But the pressures surrounding them were mounting, and they both knew that the true test of their love was yet to come. One day, while Igo was helping Chike harvest yams, a royal messenger arrived at the fields. He was dressed in the king's colors, and his presence instantly drew the attention of everyone nearby. "Princess Igo," the messenger announced, bowing slightly. "Your father, King Kemdelim, requests your presence at the palace immediately." Igo's heart skipped a beat. She had been expecting this moment but had hoped it would come later rather than sooner. She glanced at Chike, who gave her a reassuring nod. "Go," he said softly. "I'll be here when you return." Igo followed the messenger back to the palace, her mind racing with thoughts of what awaited her. As she entered the grand hall, she saw her father sitting on his throne, flanked by her mother and several high-ranking nobles. The atmosphere was tense, and Igo knew that this was not just a simple family meeting. "Igo," the king began, his voice steady but firm. "We have heard troubling news about your involvement with a commoner named Chike. Is this true?" Igo took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Yes, father, it is true. Chike is the man I have chosen to love, not for his wealth or status, but for his heart and character." A murmur of disapproval swept through the room. One of the nobles, Chief Okeke, who had always been an advocate for tradition, stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said, addressing the king, "with all due respect, this union is not appropriate for a princess of Igo's stature. She should marry a prince or a nobleman who can bring honor and wealth to our kingdom, not a mere farmer." The king frowned, deep in thought. He loved his daughter dearly and wanted her to be happy, but he also knew that her choice could have serious consequences for the kingdom's reputation. Queen Oluchi, seeing the conflict in her husband's eyes, spoke up. "My dear," she said gently, "perhaps we should hear Igo out. Our daughter has always been wise beyond her years. If she believes that Chike is the right man for her, maybe we should trust her judgment." The king nodded slowly and turned back to Igo. "Igo," he said, "you must understand the weight of your decision. If you choose to marry Chike, you will face opposition, not just from the nobles but from the people as well. Are you truly prepared for that?" Igo met her father's gaze with unwavering determination. "Father," she replied, "I have thought long and hard about this. I know that my choice is unconventional, but I believe that true love is worth fighting for. Chike and I may face challenges, but I am willing to stand by him, no matter what." The king sighed, seeing the resolve in his daughter's eyes. He knew that trying to force her into a loveless marriage would only bring her misery. But he also knew that allowing her to marry Chike would stir unrest among the nobles and possibly weaken his rule. After a long pause, the king made his decision. "Igo," he said, "I will not stand in the way of your happiness. If you truly believe that Chike is the man for you, I will give you my blessing. But there are conditions." Igo's heart soared with hope. "What conditions, father?" she asked. "You and Chike must prove that your love can withstand the challenges ahead. I will give you both a test, one that will show whether your bond is strong enough to endure the hardships that come with such a union. If you succeed, you will have my full support. If you fail, then you must reconsider this path." Igo nodded, willing to do whatever it took. "We accept your challenge, father." The king looked to the royal advisor, who stepped forward to explain the test. "You will be sent on a journey together, to the distant kingdom of Izigu, where the king is in need of assistance. The journey is long and dangerous, filled with treacherous paths, wild animals, and unpredictable weather. You must reach the kingdom and deliver a message from our king to theirs, and then return safely. If you can do this, it will prove that your love is strong enough to face anything. Ego listened carefully, understanding the gravity of the task. She knew it would not be easy, but she was confident that she and Chike could face it together. When she returned to the village and told Chike about the king's challenge, he took her hands in his and smiled. Ego, he said, I have faced many challenges in my life, but none have been as important as this. I will do whatever it takes to prove my love for you. The next morning, Ego and Chike set off on their journey to Ezigo. They traveled through dense forests, crossed raging rivers, and climbed steep mountains. Along the way, they encountered many dangers, wild animals, bandits, and treacherous weather, but they faced them all together, supporting each other with every step. One night, as they camped under the stars, Chike looked at Ego, who was tending to a small fire. Ego, he said softly, I've never been more certain of anything in my life. I love you, not just for your beauty or your status, but for your strength, your kindness, and your heart. No matter what happens, I want to spend my life with you. Ego smiled, her heart full of love for the man who had seen beyond her disguise and had chosen to love her for who she truly was. And I love you, Chike, she replied. Together, we can face anything. As they neared the kingdom of Ezigo, they encountered their greatest challenge yet, a fierce storm that threatened to wash them off the narrow mountain path. The wind howled, and the rain poured down in torrents, making it almost impossible to see. But Chike refused to give up. He took Ego's hand and led her carefully along the path, his grip never wavering. Hold on to me, he shouted over the storm. We'll make it through this together. Ego held tight, trusting Chike with her life. As they fought their way through the storm, she realized that their love had already been tested in more ways than one, and it had only grown stronger. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the gates of Ezigo. Exhausted but triumphant, they delivered the king's message and were welcomed with open arms. They had proven their love not just to themselves, but to everyone who had doubted them. When they returned to Umuahia, the king and queen welcomed them with pride. You have both shown incredible courage and determination, King Kemdelim said, smiling at his daughter and her beloved. You have my blessing to marry, and I will make sure that our people understand the strength of your love. The nobles, seeing the proof of Ego and Chike's bond, could no longer object. The villagers, too, came to see that love, when true and unwavering, was more valuable than wealth or status. And so, in a grand ceremony filled with joy and celebration, Ego and Chike were married. They ruled together with wisdom and compassion, their love serving as an inspiration to all who knew their story.